Well, I've been listening to your Podomatic podcast that you've got on.
Let's call it what it is. The #1 rated segment on Who's Slamming Who. That's going up against 30, 40 other wrestlers. And what kills me, Callie, is that all those other 35 or 40 wrestlers, international and world fame. And then there's old Kenny Bolin on there, old regional Kenny Bolin from Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, and Ohio. And I'm stomping all their butts in the ratings on that show. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, because I listen to him and I'm watching it, and you've had some pretty controversial things going on. You've got a lot of things.
That's what they say. When you speak the truth and when you get the inside dirt and when you get the background on some people and you start telling things that the average Joe don't know, I guess that does create a little controversy, and especially on an old friend of mine, I guess you might call him an ex-friend. He's not claiming to be friends these days. Old Jimmy Cornette, but we'll get into him later. This is my radio show along with you. Let's talk about us for now.
Okay. Well, other than you're the most famous person I know, Kenny, like I was saying, we go back some, and I started listening to your podcast. And for those listening out there, please go to whoslammingwho.podomatic.com and check out all the free downloads. Just put in Kenny Bolin into the search, and you'll see all the podcasts. And I'm going to go back as far here.
And make sure to listen to the Kenny Bolin segment. Don't worry about those other guys.
Yeah,
worry about the game.
He's trying to get his ratings to stay right where they're at, right?
My ratings, not everybody else's. But no, there's some interesting other people on there too. I just got off the phone earlier today with probably one of the greatest minds in the wrestling business, other than myself, is Mr. Jerry Jarrett. Had a lengthy conversation with him about some upcoming endeavors in the future, and he also has a very entertaining segment on the Who's Slamming Who as well. So if you're going to listen to me, you may as well listen to Jerry Jarrett as well. That way you might learn something in the wrestling business.
And there's also somewhere on there that we can look to go buy your DVDs, right? I know we posted it on our site.
Well, absolutely. You can go to kennybolin.com. I've got a large variety of DVDs that are available. I may not have them all listed right now. There's been a little controversy as to what DVDs I own and what I don't own. Well, let me tell you something. If I'm on them, I own them. That's kind of the way I see that. And if I bought the film, I own the film. So you can get Memphis Classics, which is a 6-hour DVD that features all the greats from the early 70s to 1981, featuring Jerry Lawler, Jackie Fargo, Tojo Yamamoto, Jerry Jarrett, Dutch Mantell, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the first ever appearance of Hulk Hogan, the first ever appearance of the Freebirds, and the first ever appearance of Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
You also have
their
pictures.
First ever appearance, not in those particular gimmicks, but their first ever appearance on the show, except for the Freebirds. The Freebirds are the Freebirds on their appearance on there, and it's probably my best-selling DVD up until I created Bolin Cena Our Life. Not My Life, not that selfish DVD that he made that had me all over it that I didn't get any credit for. Well, I produced my own DVD called Bolin Cena Our Life, and that features Kenny Bolin and John Cena's first year in OVW, including a couple of matches where John Cena and I are not only in the ring with each other, but against each other in one of the matches, and also features a great match with myself, Rico Constantino, and John Cena against Shelton Benjamin and the world champion of the UFC, Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
And that's at Freedom Hall, about 20,000 people there for that. And all that is on the new Kenny Bolin John Cena DVD. And then part 2 of that will be available within the next couple of weeks, called Bolin Cena, The Rest of Our Life. Creative on those titles, ain't it?
Yeah, you got real creative.
And that will feature the second year of John Cena with OVW. But I agree with you. That 2000 to 2002, 2003 era, man, was there a lot of talent down here for that. That just about all made it to the WWE and made a huge impact when they got there.
Now, don't you sell these at the shows too? Because I know when I was there with you, you were selling a bunch of them.
Well, when you traveled with me, I do personal appearances at a lot of the towns that we go to. I don't manage quite as much anymore these days getting too old and getting too fat to be doing too much of that. So I take it a little easier these days. Just sit behind a desk and a table, take somebody pretty like Callie with me to draw attention to my table, and we sit there and we sign autographs, we sell DVDs, sell many of the great pictures that I've compiled over the years. I think I've got, I've got AWA Classics Volumes 1 through 5 that features many of the great AWA matches from 86 to 90. What people like about those is that's Shawn Michaels' first year in the wrestling business, and there's an awful lot of on there with Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, Jerry the King Lawler's heavily featured on there, along with Kerry Von Erich, Kurt Hennig, Ox Baker, a lot of the old grads, just a little bit of everybody on those AWAs. But if you're really a fan of Jerry Lawler, Tommy Rich, Shawn Michaels, a lot of those guys, there's an awful lot, Kurt Hennig, there's an awful lot of that on there. And it's 5 volumes, 4 hours each.
Wow. And
along with Memphis Classics, the Kenny Bolin, John Cena DVDs, and also the best of Jerry the King Lawler from the AWA. Just nothing but Jerry Lawler matches if you're a big fan of Jerry Lawler. And then, of course, the best of Bolin Services, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, which covers my hottest time in OVW, which would be from 99 through 2005.
Wow. And
anyone who's anyone in the WWE is on those DVDs from their first little run through OVW, featuring Mark Henry, The Big Show, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Rico Constantino, Bull Buchanan. You just Carlito, Lance Cade. You just keep throwing names. Rene Dupree. You just keep throwing names. I couldn't possibly name them all because I managed 39 people that I put into the WWE that all became millionaires. And not enough of them kicked enough money back my way, though. But other than that,
I was going to say, how come you're not a millionaire, Kenny?
Ungrateful, but I'm a. What are you talking about? I'm working on my second million.
Oh, okay.
Gave up on my first.
The people
so we're working on the second million right now.
People in the chat room are saying, "Wow, talk about flashbacks! It's taking them back to childhood." You naming all these names.
Oh wow! Well, absolutely. There's especially when you go back to the Memphis Classics, 1974. You got Harley Race on there. You've got Handsome Jimmy Valiant when he was heavily featured. Wayne Ferris, who went on to become the Honky Tonk Man. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart's on there. Sam Bass, Plowboy Frazier.
Wow.
Who went on to be Uncle Elmer in the WWE. I mean, I could sit here and just drop names all day long. I mean, they're all on there, and then what the chatters are saying is much what I say. You throw in that DVD, and it takes you back to your childhood. I mean, 1974, as bad as I hate to admit it, was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was 14 years old, and that was the first time that I'd ever set foot in a professional wrestling arena. I was at the Louisville Gardens, 5,200 people strong. I paid $2.50 for my ticket, and I was sitting in the middle of the crowd. And I was the only fan that Jerry Lawler had in that building. He was taking on, to my memory, Gorgeous George that night. Jerry Lawler was managed by Sam Bass, and he took on Gorgeous George Jr., and that was the first time that I'd ever seen a wrestling match, and I was the only fan that Jerry Lawler had in that building.
Wow.
What attracted me to his style of wrestling, I don't know, but I've stolen about everything the man had. So I even went on to become the king of managers, which he took offense to. He thought I was trying to steal his name.
Steal his name, yeah.
He was the king of wrestling. Well, he thought we were friends, and he took offense to it that he thought I stole his name. I said, no, I'm paying honor to you. You're the king of wrestling. I'm the king of managers. You wrestled everybody in the world. Well, I've created about every star in the world that's in the WWE these days. So we've had a little problem with that king thing. But see, I think he stole the name from me, if you get right down to it, because I was such a great athlete in school that I was known as the king of kickball, the king of softball, the king of baseball, the king of football, and they called me king. Well, he didn't become the king until 1974 when he met me. And I think he heard a lot of the students that would come to the matches with me calling me king. So if you really get right down to it, I think Jerry Lawler may have stole the name from me. But he just got a chance to put it on television before I did, because I didn't start doing TV till 1987.
I think he might beg to differ on that, Kenny.
Well, he might, but you want the truth, or you want what I got to say?
We want the truth.
Oh, did I say that wrong? Well, you want the truth, or you want what? Yeah. I may have said